Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another SketchUp presentation, 10 tips of what you need to know. I'll be giving the floor to Mufeta, our application specialist. Do stay till the end. I've got a little trivia for you guys. And thank you all for coming in. Ramadan Kareem, for those of you who are fasting. And without further ado, I'm giving the floor to Mufeta. Mufeta, you can take it away.
Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to the webinar. Hope you all doing good. My name is Mufida Perveen. I'm application specialist at MediaLogic. We are the SketchUp distributors along GCC. In this webinar, let's talk about the top 10 SketchUp tips. Let's begin exploring it. The first tip is to lock axis. So this tip will show you how to move and position objects precisely and how to draw something in its exact plane. As you know, in SketchUp modeling, often we need to move objects up and down, then left and right, and both simultaneously. So in that cases, we often experience some trouble. Say, for example, sometimes the object might move in wrong axis and we have to struggle in placing them. So how many of you had such previous experience? Like you wanted to move them in blue axis, but it keep on going somewhere else. Please let me know through the polls. So 6 of them said they had such previous experience of going in wrong axis. So here I'll give you a solution for this. Now you can lock the axis. This will help you to move your object in the right axis. So pressing up arrow key in your keyboard will lock the blue axis, and right arrow key will lock the red axis, and left arrow key will lock the green axis. Here I want to move this bench and align it with the edge of this table. So when I'm trying it like it's not going in the right position. I'm not getting the exact control here. So to do it precisely, I'm locking the blue axis by pressing the up arrow key. Now the blue axis is locked and the object is restricted from going somewhere else. And here I'm choosing a point on the floor plane, so that will inference the object and it will align the object with the floor. So once after the inferencing, you can now make use of both the red axis and green axis. By locking it, now you can place it in its exact position. So by locking this kind of axis, you can now avoid the hassle of moving and placing an object. Now the bench is positioned in its exact position. Here again, I want to move this painting. It's very closer to the camera and I want to place it somewhere near to the painting in the wall. Here when I'm trying to snap it, it's not getting good. So to make it easier, here again, I'm locking the blue axis and choosing the inference point to where I want to snap it. And then again, the pressing up arrow key will snap it exactly into that position. So the same thing you can do it with by locking the red axis and green axis also. So of course, this kind of locking axis will help in case of large models. Though you can avoid the multiple moments of camera to place your objects. Now, let's move on to the tip number 2. It's about the unique component feature. I hope everyone knows that the component are direct copies. So if you make any changes to one, all the others will get affected with the same changes. So suppose in our model, if we have more number of copies of same component and we want to edit a few among them, in that case, we can isolate and edit the copies without exploring it. See here, I have around 10 copies of same component. So when I'm trying to edit the second component alone, see here the changes is affected to all the rest of components. I hope all of you must be knowing that you can isolate single objects by right clicking and making it as unique. But here I want to make around 4 of components having similar properties and the rest 6 having the rest 6 I want to act as separate set of components. So I'm selecting the 4 components which I want to isolate. After selecting it, right click and click on the make unique option. Now you can see the difference. Now when I'm trying to make any change, only the 4 are getting affected. So here the other 6 are not getting the changes. So in this way, you can create different set of multiple components. So you can isolate all the components as different sets. This is all about making multiple uniques. Now, if you want to get more than one section at a time, this multiple section hack will help you. See, I'll show how usually I'm taking sections. So first I'm going to take section along the red plane. I'm adjusting the section plane to get exact position. So to take the second section, I'm going to take it in the green axis, that is in the other plane. So when I took the second section, the other one got inactive. So here again, when I'm opening the first section, the second is getting inactive. So only one section is working at a time. So to get more than one section at a time, all you need to do is just group the entire thing as an object. And now I'm going to take the first section outside the group. I took the first section. And now I'm opening the group. And the second section is taken inside the group. See here now you can notice the change. Both the sections are active in single time. So by this way, you can create more than 2 sections, and you can create multiple sections in different angle and different positions. And you can make use of this multiple section tip to establish different spatial relationship between different spaces. So here in this diagram, you can see a single diagram can convey more by making use of this multiple section. The fourth tip is about materials from 3D warehouse. With this one here, you can extract individual materials from 3D warehouse right into your SketchUp model. So you don't need to download the entire warehouse model. Let's see how it works. Yeah, I want to add material to the floor. So first I'm going to the 3D warehouse and I'm searching for the material here. So I'm choosing this model. Here you can see in materials, it shows more than 200 materials that is used within this model. Now click on see more details. Here on right side in model info, well, I'm clicking there. It will take to the list of materials. Here, all the materials used within this model is listed down. And from this, I can download the desired one directly into my model. I'm downloading it. So now it will be automatically added to my in model collection. And with just by making use of this paint bucket tool, I can add this material to my model. Now, if I want to search for any particular material, say for example, marble, here I got all the list of marbles and I choose this one. And here is the list of marbles used in this model. So from this, I can download the required one. And by the same way, I can apply it to my floor. So did you felt this tip as useful for getting quick materials? Please let me know through the polls. Yes, that's great. So now let's move on to the fifth tip. So before getting into that, I would like to know, this is about quick site model, like obtaining quick site model. So before getting into that, I'd like to know how you were obtaining terrain or contour site models in SketchUp. I hope some of you might be using Sandbox tool, or you might be using some other extensions. So please let me know which tool you were using to get your site models done. So most of you guys were using Sandbox tool. So now, instead of having model up all the condos and spending hours and hours for making exact terrain models, here you can get the site model by just few simple steps. I'll show you how it will work. First thing you need to do is to geolocate your model. You can do it in the leftmost corner of your SketchUp page. Then click on add location. Here you can search for your location. And within this frame, you can set your region. Select the region. And you can either go for digital globe or high resolution one. The high resolution will, you have to pay something, but the digital globe is absolutely free. So you can adjust the frame. Like this, you can adjust the frame. And now just import the selected location. It's being imported to my model now. See here, I got the 2D site plan in my SketchUp page. And from this one, I can get the exact terrain or contour model in just one click. I'll show how it is. So go to the first, here, go to the file, and the in geolocation, just click on show terrain option. See, now my 2D site plan got extruded and I got the exact terrain model with the exact hilly surface. So now this model you can incorporate in your project, and you can get a beautiful contour model by making use of this tip. So the sixth tip is to hide the rest of model. So with this hack, you can hide everything else apart from the thing that you are working on. So sometimes when you are working on SketchUp model, like like this, yeah. Suppose if I want to edit the cabin, so to work on this specific cabin, in usual case, I have to orbit around. See here, I have to orbit around and try zooming in and out. And it'll be just a mess like this. So to avoid this, you can hide the rest of the things surrounding it. It can be done by going to the Windows option and the SketchUp preference, and you can type in hide there, and you'll get hide rest of model option there. And by choosing it, just assign any short key from your keyboard. I'm assigning alphabet U. Now using U key, I can control the but I can hide and unhide the rest of model. Just click on yes, then reset it and click OK. Now if I'm entering the group and then pressing U key will hide all the things surrounding it. So everything else has gone away and I can easily navigate around and work on this single object. And here also, when I'm entering to each group, the rest of things are getting hidden by pressing the U key. So you can work on any objects easily by using this one. If you're having a large model and you want to work on a single thing inside it, you can quickly do it by making use of this one. And suppose if I want to draw something within this, and here I felt like inferencing it with the hidden object. So to inference it with the hidden object, I'm unhiding it with pressing the same U key. So it's unhidden. And once it's done, again, you can hide it with the U key. So you can toggle the visibility of the rest of model with U key. So that will be very useful in case of large models. Now the 7th tip is about Face Me component. This Face Me component will always face the camera. So you can make use of this for incorporating photoreal custom people, tree, or background to a SketchUp model. Let's see how to get this kind of Face Me component. So this is just a 2D tree. You can see it when I'm changing the axis. It is just showing as a line only. So first thing you need to do is to download an object and to import it to your SketchUp page. See, when I'm rendering it, it shows a white background surrounding it. And now I'm rendering in another axis. See, here also it's appearing as a single line. So let's see how, and then press Shift key and click on the face of the tree. So this will now select only the borders of that tree, and now go to the edit option and there choose the hide. Again, select the tree plane by double clicking on the face. Right. Then it got selected, and now just right click and make it as a component by using make component option. Now in definition, you can enter any name to your Face Me component. Here I'm using tree one, and below the alignment option, just click on always face me. I mean, just check on this always face camera option. So this will convert this 2D thing to a 3D, an object with 3D effect. Just click on create option now. See, now when I'm turning the axis, when I'm changing the axis, all the time the tree is facing the camera. It's now acting as a 3D object. Here in all the plane, it's facing the camera. So now let's see after rendering it. See, in render also, it's looking like a 3D object only. So by using this, you can now replace your high poly trees and bushes and people. So by this way, you can reduce your models, because all these high poly heavy trees will add on too much to your model size. And if you replace it with this single poly 2D face component, it will drastically change your model size and make it smoother to work on it. So let's move on to the 8th tip. It's about quick material application. So this tip will help you to apply materials quickly. And now you can stop doing it in usual way of selecting individual faces and applying materials individually. Here first, I'll show how usually we'll be applying materials. We'll go for the paint bucket tool and we'll individually apply on each faces. So in case of heavy models, it will take a lot of time in applying materials. So when clicking on control option, and then if we click on the paint bucket tool, that is control plus paint bucket tool will change the material of all connected faces with matching paint. So here all connected faces with matching paint changed. Now if we choose for control plus shift plus paint bucket tool, it will change all the faces having same color will get changed. It is not required to be get connected also. If it's having if an object having same color on different faces, it will get changed by using control shift plus paint bucket tool. Now, if we choose shift plus paint bucket tool, it will change all the faces within the model having similar color. And even it's not needed to be the same object. So that one you can see on the status bar. Let's move on to the 9th tip. So this tip is to organize your model. It's outliner. So this is especially for those who are using SketchUp 2020 or 2021. Using this outliner, you can arrange objects in a hierarchical tree, and you can name and control both objects and section planes. Sorry. And also you can find and control all the hidden objects and section planes. Let's see how it works. Get this outliner window in default tray, just check on the outliner. So here the outliner is in the default window. So usually to hide an object, you'll have to right click and select hide object option. So this will hide the objects. And in outliner box, you can see the hidden objects without unhiding it. And also you can make changes, or you can edit the hidden objects without unhiding it by making use of this outliner. So this will help you to avoid creating too many unnecessary layers or tags. And any object that you create or block will automatically get added to this outliner column. And also usually to unhide something, you have to go to edit unhide option. that will either unhide it in reverse order of hiding it, or it'll unhide everything at a time. So by making use of this outliner, you can control the visibility of any objects with the respective eyeball icons. So here you can quickly control the visibility. You can hide and unhide any objects within this outliner. So by introducing this eyeball icon to toggle the visibility, now you don't have to right click and select hide option, which usually obstruct our workflow. So before moving on to the 10th tip, let me know how you were previously controlling the visibility of your objects. Please let me know it through the polls. So most of you were using tags, others were using hiding individually. So now you can start exploring with this outliner. It's quite easier than that. And also with this outliner and tag, combining this outliner and tag option, you can quickly create exploded views and animation construction sequence animations. Here, this is one such animation I have created with outliner option. So now let's move on to the 10th tip. So the 10th tip is about creating animated sections like this. This kind of animated sections can be very useful to create standard presentations, and it will provide the viewers a clear idea about the spatial connectivity and relationship. And also this can also be used to create construction sequence animations. Let's see how to make it. Here, to create an animated section, first you need to take a section at the first end to which you want to end the transition. So I took the section in the first end, then create it as a scene. And now on the other end, take another section. So this is the other end where I want to begin the transition. And I'm moving the section plane to the end. So it's done. Now position the camera in exact position as scene 1 and again create another scene. See, when I'm clicking on the scene 1 itself, you can notice the transition. So to get more precise and smooth transition, you can create more than 2 section planes. That is, you can create intermediate sections in between, and you can create respective scenes with the same camera positions like the other 2 scenes. Once the scene is ready, once all the scenes are ready, see here, everything is ready now. Now you can go to view, and in animation, you can give the time. See, in animation settings, I'm entering the scene transition time, and I had given scene transition time 6 seconds and scene delay time 0 seconds. Now just start playing the animation. See, here you can see a smooth transition between the section planes. And this way you can create any kind of animated sections. So what I felt is this kind of animations in presentations will be very useful, and it will make people more engaged and it will convey more. So we are done with all the 10 tips. Now let's move on to the most excited and awaited trivia. Before that, this is another animated section. It looks more realistic. This one I'm done with V-Ray Vision. So the same kind of animation you can make quickly with more realistic effect in V-Ray Vision. All you need to do is just enable the animation in V-Ray setting and then start V-Ray Vision. So you can play instant traced animation. Usually in V-Ray, it will take too much time to render an animation because it renders each frames individually. So you can get it quickly with the V-Ray Vision animation. So before getting into the trivia section, please let me know which topic will you mostly prefer for the upcoming webinars. So we got more votes for SketchUp from concept to execution. So let's make it for the next webinar. Please raise your hands in Q&A session so that I can allow you to talk. If you have any queries regarding the webinar, you can ask it in the Q&A box. And please let me know your feedback about the webinar through the polls. As Elena has asked to share the presentation. Sure, Elena, I'll be sharing it through the mail. All right, let's wind up the session. If you have any further queries, you can contact us through mail. So thank you all for your presence and patience. I wish you all a good and safe day. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thank you for attending this webinar, and do leave a feedback. We've put in a little link for the presentation, so just let us know through that. Thank you.